What's going on, Halloween fans? My name's Dave McRae. So in this video, I want to give you my thoughts on 5 things that I liked and 5 things that I didn't like in regards to Halloween Ends. So let's jump right into it. I've written them down. Now, they're in no particular order, okay? But let's start with the likes because we'll end with the dislikes because it's always fun to end on drama. All right, here we go. 5 things that I liked in Halloween Ends in no particular order. Number 1, the character of Laurie Strode. Now, if you remember, and if you followed me for any length of time on this channel, I've been saying for months that this was going to be more of a character-driven story rather than a plot-driven story. And we definitely got that. Now, it's too bad I didn't like the movie more, but it certainly is that. It certainly is a character-driven film. And I like a lot of things about Laurie in this movie. And I think one of the highlights for me is that we're actually seeing remnants of the girl from 1978. I like how she's vulnerable. I like, seeing her flirt with Hawkins in the grocery store and she's twirling her hair. And I'm like, there's the girl. There's the girl I remember, and at the beginning of the movie when she's upstairs and the pie is burning in the oven and she's like, Allison, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't know if it's a Jamie Lee Curtis thing or whatever, but just the way that she handled that scene and how sort of, loud she got and, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It's like, yeah, that's the girl. That's Laurie Strode, and because I don't feel that 78 girl in H2O. I don't feel that 78 girl in 18 or Kills. It's not like it's completely void, but I don't really feel it. In this movie, I do feel it because I think the vulnerability is there again. And that sweet kind of, innocence that Laurie Strode had in 1978 has sort of made its return. And naturally it would because she's 4 years removed. She's in therapy. She's trying to get back to that place that she was in before the events of 1978. So it makes sense from a character perspective that we would see that. I'm just saying it was great to see that because it really did feel like, a 65-year-old Laurie Strode. It was like, oh yeah, okay, there she is. So I did like that. Number 2, Hawkins. It's just unfortunate we didn't get more of him. But I really like Hawkins, and because I think Will Patton is a very strong character actor. So in a movie and in a trilogy that I feel has a lot of problems, it's nice to see a character actor like Will Patton come in and elevate pretty much every scene that he's in. And so I like their dynamic in the grocery store and how he's flirting with her. And, again, she's twirling her hair. And I want to see more of that. I wish he was in the film more, or in the story more. Would have been nice. But I like Hawkins as a character in this trilogy. Okay, number 3. This is also in my dislikes as well. But I'll talk about why I like this here and why I don't like it in the other section. So the idea of the Corey Cunningham story, I actually kind of like that idea, just not for this movie, not for the 3rd act in this trilogy. Let's take that story and put it over here in some sort of anthology film or Netflix series. Maybe it's, Haddonfield or Tales from Haddonfield, the Corey Cunningham story, and you can keep everything relatively the same. I mean, you wouldn't have the evil being transferred from Myers to Corey, but the story would be about like this all-American kid who has this tragic accident happen to him and this thing that happens. And it's all about his descent into darkness because of the, the bullying and the paranoia and the pressure from the town. He was on a really good path going to go to college, but now that's not happening. And you can have Laurie and Allison in there, and Laurie recognizes this, descent into madness. I've seen this before. Where have I seen this? And the town is worried it's going to start all. That's a great story. That's a really interesting story. That's an interesting story. But not for this movie. But if that's what they did, if that was an episode of like Tales from Haddonfield, I'd be like, fuck, yeah, sign me up. When is it streaming? I'll watch. Sure. And that's why I'm kind of like, yeah. And instead of the Michael Myers mask and him dressing up as Michael, you can have him dress up as that scarecrow. Maybe you make the mask a little bit scarier or whatever, right? But then you just run with that. It's a Tales from Haddonfield kind of thing. But not for this movie. So yeah, I do kind of like what they were showing, but I'm like, why are we doing this now? Number 4 would be the final battle, the final fight between Laurie and Michael. Now, maybe if I hadn't already seen them fight at the end of Halloween 18, which I kind of like better, maybe it would be more impactful. Maybe it would be more impactful if the rest of the movie felt like a Halloween movie. But I will say that I like it. I like the choreography. I like the sound design. I like the intensity of it. I mean, it really does look like they're going full tilt. It just didn't last long enough. I mean, it would have been nice if the fight carried to other places in the house, or Laurie had to escape for some reason and she's limping down the street, and Michael's chasing her. It's like, it's just like fucking 7, whatever, right? I mean, just to kind of prolong it a bit, because this is the what you're selling the film on. This is the epic moment. This is the last hurrah, the swan song. Let's go out with a bang, man. It doesn't have to last 15 minutes, but I mean, have it a little more going on than sort of maybe what happened. But I like it. What is there, I do like, because it really started to feel like a Halloween movie again. And I also like the way they killed Michael, because even though he was put into the machine at the junkyard, that's not how he died. That's how he was disposed of, but that's not how he died. He actually died right there on the table, because remember, this is that more of that grounded, version of Michael going back to the 78 original. And so, he's, if you cut him open and you let him bleed to death, he's not coming back. So he did die there on the table. And I quite like the way they did that in terms of the letting him just bleed out. I think that is really cool. I remember watching that in the theater going, oh, I kind of like this. I don't think you need to really go on anymore. Maybe you just, I don't know, you take him out back and you throw him in a barrel and on fire and the whole, I don't know. So I do like the whole fight, the kitchen scene, how he died, all that kind of stuff, because again, it started to feel like a Halloween movie again. So I do like that. And number 5 for me in the likes category is the DJ kill. I thought the DJ kill, the radio disc jockey, I thought that was fun. I thought that was fun. Of course, it's not Michael Myers, it's Corey Cunningham, which is a little disappointing, but the kill in and of itself, the effect where he's like cuts his tongue and shit, I'm like, ah, and then it's just like on the record player. Bruce and I had a really good laugh at that. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. All right, so now let's move over to the dislikes category. Okay, here we go. Let's get this out of the way now. Number 1, the way they handled Michael Myers. Oh, man. Now, obviously, it makes sense that they would handle him in this way because it is serving the story they are telling. Okay, it's not like it doesn't make sense to the story they're telling. No, to the story they're telling, it makes perfect sense. But again, I do not agree with the creative decision to go in this direction with the story. So I cringed most of the time when Michael Myers was on screen, especially when he was in the sewer. And, I mean, just the way he was emasculated and the way that he's getting all fucking like, he's hulking up. He's like Hulk Hogan from 1987. He's like, and I'm just like, what are we doing? Why am I seeing this? I don't need to see this. I don't need to see a static shot of him and Corey wrestling in the distance. I don't need to see that. I don't need to see him get his ass kicked. It was awful. As a Halloween fan, as a purist, it was awful. I get it. Like, it makes sense to the story they're telling. I'm just like, now I'm out, Shark Tank, right? I'm out. No. You know what I mean? So I didn't like that. I didn't like any of that. When Michael, killed the nurse, he's being Michael and he grabs her and puts her up the thing. I mean, I like that because it looks like you could put that in the other 2 films and it wouldn't be out of place. But I don't like the idea. I don't like anything about how they handled Michael in this movie. The fact that he's like, he's Palpatine to Corey's Vader and he's like this apprentice. I don't like any of it. I do not like any of it. Now, James Jude Courtney looks great as the Shape. He always does. The mask looks great. The way he's handling himself when he gets out and he walks around, and he kills. Yeah, okay, fine. He looks good. But the way they handled Myers in this movie, not for me. Not for me at all. Nope, do not like it. Would not have done it. Would not have done it. Yeah, that's just not at all. Number 2, Corey's story. Okay, so back to Corey's story. Again, not for this movie. So I do not understand, out of all the different directions you could have gone, why you chose to tell this story. It's really important that your third act in a trilogy, your third film in the trilogy, also feels like it's canonically connected with connective tissue to the previous 2 movies. You have to resolve unresolved plot threads and story beats and character arcs. You have to resolve those things. If you set them up, you have to resolve them. Now, you don't have to spend 30 minutes resolving them, but you got to give some closure to certain things you've set up. There's a lot of things with Hawkins, for example, that were like, well, did anybody ever find out he shot that cop? How does he feel about it? Does he feel guilty? I don't know. We don't know. We have no idea. There's lots of things like that. It's got to feel connected in style, in tone, when you're telling a trilogy of films that is one story over 3 movies. Now, look, obviously this is art. You can do whatever the fuck you want, but it's probably in your best interest to make it feel connected so it's not jarring for the audience. So why they chose to tell this story and put so much focus onto Corey Cunningham and his fall into madness is disappointing to me. Now, before you come at me and be like, you just don't get it. It was because of this. And see, the first movie's about this and the second movie's about... I get it. But I don't agree with it. I believe there is still many different stories, many different, more Halloween stories that you could have told in this third chapter and still delivered on the social commentary and the messages and the themes that you want to deliver on. That's important to deliver on to bring the message of the entire trilogy home. This isn't the only story that you could have told in order to get that message across. That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, why are we telling this story now? All right, number three. And this is really a nitpick. I wouldn't say this is a real dislike. So put a little star beside this. It's more of a nitpick, but I had to put it in this category because I just think it's kind of funny. How quickly Allison falls for Corey. It's like, whoa, girl, can we have coffee first or something? Like, well, I mean, and listen, I understand that she does say, hey, we should get together and hang out. I get that. But she just seems so confident. Not that there's anything wrong with confident women. I'm just saying it felt like it was like overconfident or like she was just like, it felt to me like you're at Home Depot and you see somebody you find attractive and you help them find what they're looking for. And they're like, oh, thanks so much. And you're like, yeah, sure, no problem. And then you say, hey, listen, I got 2 tickets to Disney World. You want to come? I'm leaving this afternoon. And it's like, whoa, whoa. Again, I'm going to the extreme to make, a point, but I don't know. There was something about how fast she fell for Corey and how confident she was and how much it looked like she just wanted to bang and get naked right there in the junkyard. I was like, wow, this is like, I know we got to, move this story along, but I don't know, it just kind of stood out to me on both times that I watched the movie. Very confident. Then again, it has been 4 years since Cameron's death, so maybe she's just horny as fuck. I don't know. All right, number 4. Okay, so there's a 4A and a 4B. So 4A would be the disconnect that I feel, and I touched on this when I was talking about the Corey thing, but the disconnect that I feel from the previous 2 movies. Now, look, I mean, I'm not, the world's biggest fan of the previous 2 movies. I didn't really like Kills at all. I think Kills makes 18 better. I like 18 way better than Kills, and I still think 18 is the best movie in this trilogy. But that being said, when you are introducing the third act in your story, the final film in your trilogy, it's gotta feel connected to the previous 2 movies. Now, again, for those of you that are gonna say, oh no, but
but it makes sense because of the.
I get the story they're telling. I just don't agree with it. And I think the film suffers because of that, because it is its own standalone movie for all intents and purposes. And David Gordon Green and company know that. They know that. They know the film that they put out there. I mean, it's not like they're shocked by the response. Well, that doesn't make any sense. It's the perfect Halloween. No, they know that. They knew that going in. They crossed their fingers, closed their eyes, and they were like, well, I hope it resonates with people. It's a big risk. They knew that. They know that. I just don't agree with it. It needs to feel connected. You need to wrap up loose ends and things from the previous movies that are still left open. And it's got to feel connected. It's got to feel connected. And so I don't like the fact that it doesn't. For B would be the fact that, now again, it's not like the other two movies were littered with this, but the fact that there's just no suspense. There's no, like, at all. There's no suspense. There's no tension. It's not a very scary movie. I mean, depending on who you are, you could make the argument and say that, well, Halloween Kills is very scary, because I could see people really finding that movie scary, depending on your threshold as a horror fan. But this movie, it's not scary at all. Not even on a psychological level. So I'm really disappointed that we've taken a step back in terms of mood and atmosphere and suspense rather than a step forward in mood and atmosphere and suspense. So I'm really disappointed about that. And number five would be the funeral procession. This is really a mixed thing, but I don't love it, so I had to put it into the dislike category, but maybe in time I'll come around to it. I just don't know if it was needed to go that far. But I understand why they did. I mean, really, to put Michael into the machine and watch his body just all over the place is for the character of Laurie as well. It's properly motivated. It serves the character, but it's also for us in the theater too. So we go, okay, nope, he's not coming back from that, right? Because if they had ended it in any other way besides that, there probably would have been that, he's coming back. No, this is really like, you don't come back from that. But he was already dead, right? That was just sort of the disposing of his body. But, and I get it. I get that, the town is there to see her do it. So instead of showing in some epilogue her having, conversations with people of the town, which clearly illustrate that they have forgiven her and that all is okay now, they bring the town there to watch the disposing of the body, and Laurie Strode kind of lead that charge. And we can assume, because they saw this happen, everybody's probably okay now. They've made their peace. They've made their peace with Laurie. Laurie's made their peace with the town. And in that way, it does work. It absolutely works. So I get that. But it's just this whole idea of him being on top of the car, like Weekend at Bernie's, and or Aunt Edna and in Vacation, and this whole like parade, and Barker shows up out of nowhere, and I'm just like, there's a silliness about it, but not completely. And I think that I might feel better as time passes, but I had to put it into the dislike category because I'm kind of mixed on it. You know what I mean? Anyways, folks, those are my 5 thoughts of dislikes and likes in regards to Halloween Ends. Comment below and let me know your thoughts. What are your 5 likes or 5 dislikes in regards to Halloween Ends? Or maybe you're going to be one of those people that's going to go, I fucking hate this movie, and I hate all of it. Here's 55 dislikes. That's fine. Comment below. Let me know, man. Let me know. Just keep the discourse friendly and mature, all right? Please. Fucking fun. Come on. We're all fans here, folks. We're all fans. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. My name's Dave McRae. If you want to follow me on social media, you can. There are my links right there. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Check them out in the description below until your heart's content. And when your heart is content, check them out again. That's going to do it for me. In the meantime and in between time, I will talk to you soon. Cheers.